to the Coliseum. We're going to walk down the peristyle entrance. It is going to be a beautiful day in Southern California. Iowa at USC. USC is a 6.5-point favorite in this game. Iowa just gave Oregon all it could handle, but ended up falling on a last-second field goal by Atticus Sappington, who sounds like the main character in a Nathaniel Hawthorne novel. What do we think is going to happen?
Hawthorne, the author of the book with Atticus Finch in it?
No, that was Harper Lee. Okay. I didn't go for the obvious with Harper Lee.
Okay, I didn't know how much.
I went for Nathaniel Hawthorne, who wrote the Scarlet Letter. Hester Prynne was the main character in the Scarlet Letter. Well, the female main character.
And Atticus she cheated on her husband.
She did. I don't know if she even cheated on her husband.
It was a boyfriend.
No, I think she just slept with someone as an unmarried woman. It's been a while, and I hated that book. So, literary scholars, feel free to flame me on that.
All I know is that she did something promiscuous, and then had to like. That's kind of a wild thing. Wild times back in the 1800s when that happened.
1700s, but
that's wild.
Listen, Kirk Ferentz was coaching the Hawkeyes when that book was published. So that's about the only connection I have. Can Iowa do to USC what it did to Oregon, Ari? The weather is not going to be an issue here. That's not going to stop or slow down anybody's offense. But can Iowa slow down USC's offense the way it slowed down Oregon's offense?
You know, Iowa's always consistently tough. The question I have is, if the wind came out of the sails a little bit after losing the way they did on Saturday at home. Because they would have been in a really good position if they were able just to keep Oregon from kicking that field goal at the end. And by the way, we've all gotten carried away with the Fernando Mendoza, Omar Cooper connection because that was insane. I shouldn't say carried away. We've all freaked out over it, and rightfully so, because it was awesome. But like Dante Moore's pass on that final drive down the sidelines was one of the better passes on Saturday and could have been a Heisman moment, maybe in another world. And he's still technically alive in the race. I don't know. Maybe if Oregon wins and beats USC and he plays well, he'll still have a chance to win it. But that is a tough way to lose for Iowa.
I would say Jade Maab has been a better quarterback than Dante Moore, though. Like if we're talking about Big Ten quarterbacks to challenge Fernando Mendoza for the Heisman, Jaden Mayava would be my pick.
The reason why I bring that up, and the Heisman's it's not necessarily what I wanted to focus on. It's more about the level of throw it took to beat them. And like, if you are Iowa and you feel like you have that game won and somebody pulls that throw out of their ass and hits you on the sideline in a very, but
here's the problem. Like Jaden Mayava is not pulling that out of his ass. Jaden Mayava does that regularly. You have a new addition to your Panini collection. So PaniniAmerica.net to start your collection, but Ari just got an absolute nuke in the mail.
It wasn't that expensive, actually, but I had to have it as a college football person. But, we haven't gotten any of this product yet this year. We might shortly, but this is the 2023 National Treasures college collection. And one of the most entertaining games I've ever watched was the Ohio State-Utah Rose Bowl from 2022. And you remember that game where
I do. Poor Cam Rising. Yeah.
Had 350 yards set, and CJ Stroud torched Utah's defense and, set a Rose Bowl receiving record. I saw this card on eBay and I had to have it. This is a JSN rookie patch auto. And I don't know if I'm doing a good job holding it.
It's got the Rose Bowl patch from that game.
The swatch is the Rose Bowl patch. And in the picture of him holding the ball is the Rose Bowl uniform he was wearing. So the art matches the patch. And this is numbered to 99. And it was signed by him. As a college football nerd, I personally think that the best swatches that Panini offers are the college bowl patches. Like any bowl, any team. If you get the swatch from where the patch is on the jersey, I think that's the coolest thing that you can collect. They're not the most valuable thing, and me, I'm always into what's worth the most. But to me, this is something I'd want to put away and just have because I think it's.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't really see these. You don't see a Rose Bowl patch that pure very often.
And also, the part that gives me pause here, because I was thinking. Before I really started digging into this game, I was thinking that I was going to be picking Iowa to cover this 6.5-point spread. Iowa gave up 7.3 yards a carry to Oregon on Saturday. USC runs the ball very well.
Yeah.
King Miller has done a great job. That line does a good job getting holes open for him. And the thing is, Oregon was dealing with a pretty tough situation at receiver because DeCorian Moore wasn't playing. Kenyon Sadiq wasn't playing. And I realize he's a tight end, but he's one of their main targets. And then they lose Gary Bryant Jr. early in the game. So they were playing without their best receivers. USC is playing very much with its best receivers, and its best receivers are awesome.
Yes. Anybody who's listened to the show all season knows that I've been like looking forward and kind of painting a picture of a retro Pac-12 USC Oregon matchup. And every single time I do it, you go, well, they got to play Iowa. Like, I've overlooked this game on the schedule for the last month. And it would be pretty on brand for me to just continue to overlook it, right? So I'm going to USC to cover. And let's get ready for that retro West Coast football vibes. Like, I think
I agree with you in this case because USC runs the ball as well as it does. And Iowa's got to stop the run. They couldn't stop the run against Oregon. So unless USC's offensive line is just that much worse than Oregon's offensive line, and I don't necessarily think it is, then USC is going to be able to run the ball effectively enough, and it will open up the pass game, which will be considerably better than what Oregon had with a bunch of injured receivers and horrible weather. So I think Iowa is in a much tougher situation to keep this game competitive than it was in the Oregon game.
Yeah. Jaden Maava threw for 299 yards against Northwestern, and King Miller rushed for 127 yards on only 15 carries.
Yeah, that's the part that scares me if you're Iowa. Like because Iowa doesn't do what it did against Oregon defensively. Iowa doesn't allow 7 yards a carry against anybody.
The other thing that has to be pointed out too, Andy, is that USC hasn't played a close game at home all year. They do play really well in the Coliseum. They've blown out everybody at home or won by multiple possessions. All their tough games. The loss at Illinois stands out. Obviously on the road at Notre Dame, but they beat Michigan 31-13 at home. Is Michigan the better version of Iowa? Or is Iowa as good as Michigan in your mind?
I think they're very similar.
Yeah, but they already blew out a team like this at home once. So
I that's why I'm picking USC to cover here. I just think the matchup's bad for Iowa.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think if this was at Kinnick in bad weather, I'd probably be saying something very different, just like I did last week. But
home field advantage matters when the climates are different, for sure. On top of obviously the
right, and also the fact that USC can run the ball now. If USC couldn't run the ball very well, I'd probably be saying that Iowa has a chance to win this game.
Yeah,
but it's because USC's run the ball so effectively of late that it makes it very hard to pick against them. So I'll take the Trojans to cover 6.5.